This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program Money Talk, we now bring you a dialogue on need for financial restructuring of Air India. The participants are Ashwini Phadnis, Deputy Editor, The Hindu, and Sindhu Jain Bhattacharya, journalist.
Ashwini, Air India is our national carrier, has been around for a long number of years. It's an airline which is seen as India's pride, justifiably so. But if you look at the financial part of it, the pride is not really very evident. The airline is into deep losses. It has huge amount of debt on its books. The government has agreed to a bailout package which is very fair and just, I think. But that bailout package may not exactly be the panacea that the airline is looking for. Your thoughts on why at all there is a need for any financial restructuring of Air India?
Sindhu, I couldn't agree with you more. There's a complete need for financial restructuring of Air India for the simple reason that if you step back into history, you will see that the government has provided, before this financial restructuring package of about 30,000 crores was announced, very little money to either Air India or Indian Airlines as they used to exist at that time. Speaking from memory, if I remember correctly, the equity base of what was Indian Airlines used to be just 145 crores. Now, all of us know that aircraft are expensive assets. They can cost anything from $37 million to $150, $160 million. The way the aircraft acquisition is financed is that based on your equity base, you borrow money. Given the low equity base that the airline had, it was becoming difficult to borrow, so there was a need for financial restructuring, which is what the government finally decided to go ahead and do and pump in more money into Air India.
So basically you are saying that the financial restructuring was inherently required because the equity base was very low. They needed to take on the aircraft as assets which are very expensive, and the equity did not justify aircraft loans. So was the financial package, which is, as you said, 30,000 crore till 2020, was it very late in coming? I mean, should it have come earlier?
This is a discussion that a number of people have had, but what you've got to remember is that the entire idea of providing the financial restructuring was to give a new lease of life to Air India. The new lease of life was coming at a time when the market was growing. It was coming at a time when, according to Air India's own projection, traffic growth was in double digit. So rather than worrying about whether it was late or not, we've got to see it in the context of the way the market was growing and the government decision to pump in money at that time and allow Air India to actually go ahead and buy new aircraft. They had not acquired new aircraft since 1994. We all know that if you drive an old car, then the mileage of the car goes down. It's the same as far as an aircraft is concerned. If you're going to be flying an old asset, it's the cost of operating that asset will surely shoot up.
So rightfully you're saying the financial package was not too early. In fact, it might have been a little late in coming when it did. Regardless of the financial package, it's very generous, 30,000 crore in equity support. There is, outside of that, I think there's a sovereign guarantee for loans that Air India takes. Let me talk a little bit about Air India's financial position. Right now, the total accumulated debt is about 45,000 crore, a little over. Of that, 18,000 crore is aircraft loans, 22,000 is loans that they have taken from banks, and 5,000 is from sundry debtors, suppliers and other people. So the government is doing its bit in pumping in equity. The airline's performance has also improved in the last 12 to 15 to 18 months. The on-time performance is better, revenue generation is better, market share is better. So why are we right now looking at a situation where even those 30,000 crore are not enough for Air India's survival? A little bit about why Air India's survival is not ensured because of this financial package.
Here we need to step back and see the procedures that Air India follows, a private carrier like Jet Airways. During a recent analyst call, senior Jet Airways officials admitted that the market was not growing as fast as they had thought it would be growing. As a result of that, they withdrew capacity from domestic and leased out some of those aircraft to foreign airlines, which meant that they were getting more money into their coffers, which was helping them offset costs, rising aviation turbine fuel costs, which is about 45% of the operating costs of most airlines. Now, if we juxtapose this with Air India has been trying to lease out aircraft in its fleet, the 777s, for some years now, but has been unsuccessful because of the tendering process. Again, in the market right now to pick up smaller A320 aircraft, which they plan to have in a single configuration so that they can take on the low-cost airlines which are dominating the market. And again, they're finding it very tough because the tender conditions that are stipulated for a PSU are very strict.
I remember a statement the Civil Aviation Minister made around the same time last year, which said that of 300 routes that Air India flies, only 3 or 4 were meeting their operational costs. Everything else was in a loss. That situation seems to have improved significantly again, because yesterday he said 69% of these routes are at least meeting their costs. Is privatization something that will help Air India? Because over the last few days we've heard quite a bit of debate over privatization. Is privatization the panacea for Air India, or is there any other way also that the airline can actually be fighting fit?
Privatization is probably one of the ways that Air India can regain its lost glory. Why I say that is because if you do privatize Air India, the chances are that decisions will be taken a lot faster. The chances are that in an industry where controlling costs is imperative, the airline will be in a position to do this. Give a small example on this. ATF prices have been going up and up and up. The Air India was finally given permission by its board to import ATF and hedge on the price of ATF, which most global airlines do to protect their bottom line and to make sure that they become profitable. Now, Air India, if it is privatized, will probably be in a position to take these decisions a lot faster rather than waiting and then realizing that they've taken the decision way too late.
I think privatization, if at all it were to be considered, would also help in many other ways. A private investor would not only bring in more funds. The government is very clear that beyond this 10-year financial package, it is in no position to pour in more of taxpayers' money into Air India. Fund requirement of Air India is unlikely to wane. The fund requirement can possibly be filled by an investor who comes in. Also, like you said, the management of the airline would improve considerably because it will be in private hands. There is something to be said about the employees of Air India and the culture of employees. Since the Indian Airlines and Air India, the erstwhile 2 separate airlines, were merged in 2007, the board of the new merged airline has tried very hard to get employees of the 2 different airlines together on board. Their emoluments have been put on track. The Dharmadhikari committee has actually managed to synchronize seniority, position and levels in the merged airline. Now, if there is a private investor at this stage, and I'm not even saying that that private investor should be 100% investor, if there is an investor who's seriously interested in the airline, maybe the employee issues can also be sorted out a little more amicably, faster. So the employee issues can be sorted out, productivity can be increased. Like you said, decisions like buying of planes, which is the lifeblood of an airline, they can be taken faster, and the airline probably can be on its way to turn around faster. Now, as per the financial restructuring plan under which Air India has got this financial package, the first net profit would come only by 2018 or 19. So many years later, the market dynamic, I don't think any of us can predict how many more airlines will come in, what kind of a market it will be. I suppose getting fresh funds into the airline should be the absolute priority right now. Your thoughts?
I couldn't agree with you more, and here we should step back a bit and look at what Air India is going to be up against. The Jet Etihad deal has been announced, has almost gone through. Tata Singapore Airlines has said that they want to set up a domestic airline in India, and then you have the announcement of Air Asia also starting a new airline in India. So Air India is going to be up against a lot more competition than what it has been used to, and it will be competition not only domestically, and in addition it's going to be hit badly even on international long-haul routes, which is where, thanks to the introduction of the Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft, now they have started making money, or at least meeting their operational costs on these routes. So it's about time that the employees also realize that the days of the government providing dole is pretty much over. A step in this direction was probably made by the stern step the Civil Aviation Minister Ajit Singh took when Air India pilots went on strike. The people who led the strike have still not been taken back, which for years was not the case.
I'm not sure that privatization is the only way, but probably that is the beginning for Air India to start getting back on track.
As we've discussed, privatization would ensure accountability. And if accountability comes in, that will be the first step towards actually regaining some of the lost market share and glory that Air India used to enjoy domestically and internationally.
You've spoken of the market scenario changing. You've spoken of Jet Airways, Etihad Airways combine, which is going to alter the market dynamics. You've also spoken of the imminent arrival of Tata's with Singapore Airlines. Tell us a little more about how this is going to impact Air India.
It's going to impact Air India because you've got to remember whether it is Tata Singapore Airlines or Jet Etihad, these are going to be players with deep pockets. They will be nimble-footed. If the need arises, they will be in a position to either deploy more asset or withdraw asset as market dynamics require. Given the position that India is sitting in globally, geographically, the flow of traffic all going to be via India. That is where the future lies. That is where Air India too will eventually have to go and compete. So, unless it gets its act together now, it might be just too late.
I believe a decision last year to hive off two of Air India's very significant businesses, which is the maintenance, repair and overhaul business and the business of ground handling. These two functions that Air India does as the state carrier, they have been hived off into two separate subsidiaries. I believe that has taken off a lot of burden from Air India's books. From one estimate tells me that this has actually reduced the workforce by 50%, which also improves the manpower to aircraft ratio considerably. From 230, which it was some years back, it's now back to 100, which is even better than the Indian industry leaders like Indigo. So, do you believe some sort of partial privatization has already begun?
You are correct, because the people who are working on the ground handling subsidiary and the maintenance, repair and overhaul subsidiary are all contractual labor. As far as Indian Airlines and Air India are concerned, the original Indian Airlines and Air India, which were merged into Air India in 2007, are concerned, most of those people are people who are not on contract. They've been given employment for life. They've been given employment till their retirement age, whether it be 55 or 58. So there is a case that needs to be made out for the entire process.
In conclusion, what would you like to say? 1, 2, 3, the steps that are urgently required, and then maybe steps that can gradually get Air India to its lost glory.
One thing that we've got to remember is that this government and previous governments have always said that it is not the job of the government to be either running hotels or running airlines or being other businesses. This should be implemented as fast as possible, because unless an airline can be nimble-footed, it doesn't have a future, especially given the manner in which, as I mentioned, Jet Etihad is coming in, Tata Singapore Airlines is coming in, and this is the market where the future lies.
Thank you so much, Ashwini.
You were listening to a dialogue on Need for Financial Restructuring of Air India. The participants were Ashwini Fadnis, Deputy Editor, The Hindu, and Sindhu Jain Bhattacharya, journalist. It came to you in the program Money Talk, produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.